Many have said this is the most successful consumer product ever launched. Over 90% market share, and our competitors were just flummoxed.
Which tablet can effectively dethrone the iPad? Apple CEO Steve Jobs announced the iPad killer on March 2nd, which is the iPad 2, a device that supports over 65,000 apps on the iTunes app stores, when competitors only have up to 100 apps at launch. The iPad 2 will be competing with the Research in Motion BlackBerry Playbook, which runs on the BlackBerry Tablet OS, the HP Touchpad with WebOS, which supports multitasking and embedded flash videos, along with Android 3.0 honeycomb tablets such as the Motorola Xoom and other Android tablets such as the HTC Flyer. How does the iPad 2 stack up to these devices? Let's find out. I'm Chung Win, and in this weekend edition of Notebooks.com, we're going to go ahead and talk about the iPad 2 and some of our initial impressions, and get a demo of the device. Before we do that, let's go ahead and talk about what's new with the tablet. The iPad 2 is an evolutionary device at first glance, but it does offer a revolutionary user experience with its updated specs. At initial impression, it sports the same display size of 9.7 inch with the same resolution and same screen technology, so for Kindle owners who are mocking the device as not being outdoors readability, those issues will still appear on the second generation tablet. The device, however, is slimmer at 33% slimmer than the original iPad. It is also slimmer than the iPhone 4. The device is 0.2 pounds lighter and clocks in at 1.3 pounds, and it supports 3G wireless networking for either AT&T or Verizon Wireless, so you do have to choose which network you're going to use the iPad on. There will be also a Wi-Fi only version for those who want basic features. The iPad 2 will be available in the same storage capacities as the original iPad in either 16, 32, or 64 gigabyte sizes, and it will also be carrying the same price points. The device shares the same screen and battery as the original iPad. What's new, however, is the updated processor. Instead of the A4 graphics chip, the iPad 2 will support Apple's proprietary A5 graphics processor, which provides dual-core processing and up to 9 times the graphics power of the original A4 chip found on the iPhone 4, iPod Touch, and also the iPad 1. We expect the A5 chipset to make its way down to the iPhone 5 and also the updated iPod Touch sometime in the near future. The design has also changed. Instead of the beveled backside, we have a flatter back surface, which will help the device lay flat on a flat tabletop surface. There's also a new smart accessory cover called a smart case, or smart cover as Apple calls it, which aligns itself and snaps on magnetically to the iPad to provide some protection for the screen while maintaining Apple's clean and pure industrial design. There are now 2 cameras on the device, which will support both photo booth, which will allow you to take cool pictures and add effects to your photos, along with FaceTime video chat, so now you can chat and do video calls between the iPod Touch, the iPhone, other iPad 2 users, and also the Mac OS X desktop. There are also a number of new applications which are available, which we will go into depth later, including iMovie and GarageBand. Let's now talk about some of these other apps. The screen is the same 9.7-inch display of the original iPad. The device has 2 cameras, one on the front, which is a VGA camera, and then the rear camera can do 720p HD resolution. Before we have the device, let's go ahead and take a look at how slim it is. It is thirds slimmer than the original iPad, and it is slimmer than even the iPhone 4 on the market. It
ahead and take a look at the back again if we can.
And it shows you where the
Take a
zones
look
are.
at where the speaker is. So the speaker grill has moved a little bit. So now it has a larger opening and it arches towards the back. And you have the dock connector in the same position. And there's the new HDMI dock connector accessory, which will allow you to mirror your display and display any application out onto a larger HD TV if you want to share your experience with family and friends.
I think this is the one that's most useful because most of the other stuff is pretty self-evident.
So the device, the iPad 2, has a new dual-core processor. It's the A5 chipset that Apple designed, which provides twice the processing power and up to 9 times the graphics power, which we can really see in applications such as games and even the new photo booth application, which is similar to that on the desktop.
You can drag in the different sounds, and then where you place
will allow you to have different effects for your photos. And unlike the desktop one, this one is actually touch enabled, so you can actually use your fingers and manipulate the effects on this one.
And once you record, once you find
And I believe you can even use the camera both on the front and the rear for photo booth.
So, and it will memorize those moves. So if I wanted to add a clap in this section, for example.
So there are up to 9 different effects on photo booth at launch.
Now when I stop you,
And you can really see all of this, all of the different quadrants there are actually rendered in video. So you have 9 videos playing simultaneously on the screen, and that's all powered by the A5 processor.
so you don't have to have just a static.
The iPad 2 weighs just 1.3 pounds, but it definitely feels a lot lighter than that, and it does feel a lot slimmer than the 33% slimmer design that it
I didn't realize that was on.
Other applications include GarageBand, which will allow professionals and amateurs to create pleasant sounding tunes, unlike with real instruments.
It's not really, not so much designed for that. It's really more of a fun device.
So one of the demos that was done on stage was with the keyboard, which utilizes the new gyroscope inside the device. Essentially, that allows you to tap a key lightly and it will play the sound more quietly, and if you tap hard on the keyboard, the sound will be louder, but in this noisy environment right now, we can't hear it too well.
Right, so you have the key that you're in, which is chosen in this.
You also have controls for the different instruments, like here you have the sustain pedal along with the octave changer, so you can move between different octaves. So you have essentially a full-size grand piano in the size of an iPad.
So it's very graduated in terms of.
There are other instruments such as with the drum set,
You can play like
and if you switch between different instruments, you're going to see the different drum or instrument look and feel, so it's very customized towards the instrument that you select.
I think what's really important
For those who don't have music backgrounds, I believe it's called Simple Instruments.
so having such a very basic and simple way to go in here.
So you do have access to Simple Instruments, which will allow you to compile different tracks that sound pleasant. So even if you don't have background in music, Apple's tools here will allow you to create pleasant sounding tracks, which you can combine together to create a song.
Very different to the app that's on the Mac.
So just tapping it and combining all the different notes and chords together will give you a track, and then the various tracks, you combine different instruments inside the tracks to get your own song. And there are up to 8 tracks for a song that you can use in GarageBand. Can we see an example of that?
This is one I wish we demoed on stage.
So this is the Simple Guitar,
Oh, yeah, no, that's no
and
problem.
we're currently recording what we're playing right now on the Simple Guitar.
So the sampler is a classic technology.
So that's the first track, and then you can go ahead and add in drums or piano to get additional tracks.
Let's try the sampler one more time. You remember, I don't want to date myself or you, but you remember the movie Ferris Bueller?
Yeah, absolutely.
You remember the classic, he records, it's like, Right. So you can do the same thing here.
And then you can time when the different tracks start and stop, so you have a compilation together.
Of course, you could take, you can go into your samples.
So this is GarageBand, which will be native to the iPad.
And now I've got
Another new app is iMovie, which will be a universal app, which is available for both iPhone and the iPad, which will allow you to edit and precisely edit movies and clips on the iPad or iPhone. You have different themes to add different effects to your movie. And you also have theme songs and transition music along with the movies that you're going to create.
You can actually record.
You can go ahead and add in songs from your iTunes album, it looks like, or some preloaded songs as well.
So, again, all those things you can have you be able to do.
There's a precision editor function, which will allow you to pinch out.
It's quite deep for something so
which will give you a more precise
what we found is that schools
way to edit your clip and merge them together. And then you can crop and trim your clip as you need to.
Not so much the fun side of it, but the sort of fun.
So let's go ahead and play back our movie, and we can go ahead and play it back in full screen rather than look at the video editor.
You should be doing it.
And all the themes and music and effects are applied here. The great part about this is that you can go ahead and share this video experience that you've just created with friends and family, either on the larger screen display via the HDMI cable, or
I tell you, one of the things that's really been fun is
through AirPlay. And then you can also share this online through social networks or YouTube as well.
The last couple of weeks, people have been submitting their remixes of songs. It's unbelievable, the range. There's like 60 already. Songs. It's very vindicating when it has enough
Tap and hold, preview. Viewer. Great. What about your No, this actually is always when you tap one.
So to share it with different networks, such as YouTube, Facebook video, or CNN iReport, all you would have to do is click one of the options and log in with your credentials.
Well, that's the thing. So we now have things from Black and Michael wanted to down Black. Yeah. Project. Also,
another app which is available is FaceTime.
I turn my theme music off. And I turn background music off.
And this is the screen that you get, so you can add in contacts via their email, and they would show up here on the right side. And then the video preview would happen on the left side, and this can be in either portrait or landscape, thanks to the use of the gyroscope. So now we're connected.
I knew it was mine, but I'm like, excuse me, can you open up your face and make sure? Whereas now,
and if this picture of yourself is obstructing anything that you want to view, you can go ahead and move it to a different corner on the screen. And with FaceTime now, you can FaceTime between the iPhone, the iPod Touch, the Mac, and now the iPad 2. So you definitely expand your video chatting.
And you can do the video out as well. You can switch cameras.
You can switch from the front to the rear camera, so if you don't want to show your other party yourself, you can go ahead and show them what you're looking at. So here, this is what we're looking at with what was the red box.
So whenever you have the video, so for example here,
so let's go ahead and end the call. But the great part about FaceTime, which brings us back to our cover, is that you can use the magnetic cover to stand up your iPad 2, into a comfortable viewing area just by rolling it up. for video chat. So on this angle, you have a nice comfortable area just to share whatever you're looking at with nearby friends, or you can even use it to type. But if you stand it up, you can go ahead and use this angle to watch movies or to do your FaceTime video calls. So this is the iPad 2. I'm Chung Win for Gotta Be Mobile and Notebooks.com in San Francisco.
Apple's iPad 2 will also ship with iOS 4.3, which brings a number of new features to the iOS environment, including tethering, along with home sharing. The first feature, tethering, is specific to the iPhone 4, but it will also benefit the iPad 2 owners in that you can share your iPhone 4's AT&T or Verizon Wireless's mobile broadband network with your iPad 2, so you don't need a separate data plan if you don't want to purchase one. What I would recommend iPad 2 owners is to purchase the 3G version, which will give them the benefit of having GPS capabilities, for instance for using it in their cars as a navigation solution or with location-based services. The 3G version will cost $130 extra on top of the price of the iPad 2. I specifically would recommend users to purchase the AT&T 3G GSM version rather than the CDMA Verizon version, because AT&T's 3G is a little bit faster than Verizon's 3G, along with the fact that AT&T's GSM iPad 2 will be compatible in more countries internationally for those who travel abroad. With the GPS solution, users can benefit with car kits such as ones from ProClip USA, and solutions for software such as those from Navigon, which provides excellent turn-by-turn navigation. With home sharing, the iPad 2 will essentially be able to do sort of the opposite of what AirPlay does today, in that you would, rather than push your content from the iPad 2 out to a TV via Apple TV, you can actually pull content from your home computer onto the iPad 2, so you don't need to store your music or photos directly on the iPad 2, and you can go ahead and watch movies that are already stored on your network-connected Mac desktop if you're in the same home network. What home sharing does is it will open the doors up for rumored cloud-based services from iTunes and MobileMe that Apple is supposedly working on. Apple is rumored to be working on a cloud-based storage solution that will allow users to stream their purchased music, videos, and movies from the cloud to their iPod 2 devices or iOS devices in the future. Another optional accessory that you can get for the iPad 2 is an HDMI output connector, which connects to the dock connector at the bottom of the iPad 2. That will allow you to not only watch video and other content on a big screen HD TV, but you can also mirror the iPad 2's display, meaning that you will have access to not only your home screens, but games, videos, and other apps. So that way you can not only play games and use the iPad 2 as a large controller and also as the console for your games, but you can also browse the web and access your email on a larger display. The iPad 2 will be entering a very highly competitive tablet market that's not only dominated by PC industry veterans such as HP and Lenovo, but will also be competing with other smartphone makers such as Motorola, HTC, LG, and Samsung. In the tablet space, Apple is following its traditional fashion in not releasing specific specs on the device.
They're rushing in, and they're looking at this as the next PC. The hardware and the software are done by different companies, and they're talking about speeds and feeds, just like they did with PC. Experience, and every bone in our body says that that is not the right approach.
In fact, the company didn't even release specs on RAM. It only says that the Apple is powered by a dual-core gigahertz processor. Apple is defining, as I've written on Gotta Be Mobile, itself as a software and not a hardware company in the tablet market, as it has done before with the PC market. CEO Steve Jobs says that the iPad 2 will compete based on its user experience with over 65,000 tablet-specific apps. So while the iPad 2 feels like an evolutionary upgrade with incremental changes, the overall user experience is definitely worthy of an upgrade, especially for iPad 1 owners. If you haven't owned an iPad before, I would highly suggest you go out and try the iPad 2 and perhaps purchase one yourself. Combined with the A5 processor, which offers dual-core processing power along with 9 times the graphics capability of the original iPad, the user experience on the tablet is very smooth and fast. In fact, web pages loaded fast, games were rendered in very high quality, and you can definitely see the graphics details in such games as Infinity Blade. Compared to the Motorola Xoom Android 3.0 tablet, which boasts its competitive feature as supporting Adobe Flash, that tablet doesn't have Flash preloaded at launch and won't be coming for another couple weeks. While Apple has shunned Flash in the past, its support for HTML5 is highly impressive, and a number of websites with HTML5 videos will play on the iPad, whereas on the Motorola Xoom, including YouTube's own video, would not play in the web browser despite having HTML5 support. So here the iPad 2 definitely shows its power over the Xoom in both web browsing and also in the number of apps available for the tablet market. In conclusion, the iPad 2 will be the tablet to beat in 2011. Compared to the Motorola Xoom, which our own writers and others on the internet have called a beta product, the iPad 2 is a very refined product and offers a very polished user experience, both on the graphics side and on the user interface side. The device is fast, it supports a lot of features that are missing from other tablets, including app support, and also includes a number of features such as software like iMovie and GarageBand, along with the iWork Studio that makes the iPad 2 a very productive device, including its ability to be a consumer-centric content consumption device. So in general, if you haven't owned an iPad, the iPad 2 would be the device to get. If you've owned the iPad 1 in the past, now would be the time to sell your original iPad 1 and get ready to buy the device, which will be available in both black and white on March 11th in the US. CEO Steve Jobs said that the iPad 2 will be making its way around the globe and will be available in 26 countries a week after the US debut. From every one of us at notebooks.com and Gotta Be Mobile, I'm Chang Nguyen. Thanks for watching, and today's a great day to be mobile.